Okay, good morning, Jayla. Okay, so I'm gonna start the notes. Please, for those, just make sure you take notes, all right? Otherwise, it's really hard for you to remember everything. All right, frequency table and histogram, those are the two things that we've been cover, all right? Frequency table, you don't have to copy exactly every single thing in here, but you may take out some notes that make sense for you and it helps you to study for your summative, then do so. This PDF is in Schoology. I already upload that. Okay, frequency tables show how often an item, numbers, or a range of number occurs. So think about the tally that you put in the second column, right? For this group, this is how many times something happening. So when you use a range of number, the data are separate into, so when you split it up into interval, hold on, this not working for me. Okay. So when they do this, it will split this into interval, or the one that we call is the classes. Okay. So when you use a range of numbers, because it's sometimes not just like this item, but it's within, like the freshman, that is your group, or the age, from 15 to 20, and then 21 to 25, something like that. So that's what we call the interval, okay? The frequency table that we use when we have the frequency table, I look at your work. I thank you for those who send me the work on Wednesday. I sent it back to you, and then I gave you the point. That means it's good. The only thing is that when you create the frequency histogram, there's no space in between. So I make that note. I send it back for some of you. Okay. So how to make a frequency table. So we're going to review that a little bit. So over here, I'm going to change something a little bit because we usually look at numbers. But in this case, it's not just numbers. Okay. We're going to use, so for this one, we're going to use the letters to create the frequency table. It's going to work out the same. So the first one is going to be the tally. Okay. And then this one, like this is the frequency, and this one is cumulative frequency. And I think that some of you are still confused about cumulative. Sorry, it's hard for me to write in the morning. So how do you find the tally? If I look over here, rocks is the R. So I'm looking here, and then jazz is J, country is C, top 40 is F, and then rap is P, right? So I'm going to go back and look at my table and fill it in. So over here, P, there's one P. So look, I make the tally. There are two F's. C, there's one C. J, so even though it's not numbers, it can be letters. This is okay. That is okay. You just have to go and put it in the group that it belongs to and count how many times something happened. I have two R, 1, 2. C, there's one. J, let me move I have one J. R, another R, okay. And I have 1, 2, 3 F, 1, 2, 3 for the F. 1, 2, 3. R, P, 1, 2, there's two more P. C, R, P, F, 2P, 2F. Okay, so it's okay. We look for the group, and that's how you come up with the tally. Because I have one student last time asked, how do I know what tally that I need to use? Based on the list that's given to you, okay? The frequency is basically just the number of tally that you got. So this is 5, 2, 3, 8, 7. So I think that when I look at your work, the tally and frequency is get better. About 70% of you know what to do. The cumulative frequency, when I look at your paired X from the last time, that's the part that you guys confuse. So that's why I want to go over. Cumulative frequency is mean the total of all the frequency add together. So if I look over here, I'm going to start with always, the first one is the same. On your summative, I will ask you to do something like this. I'm going to ask you to create the frequency table. Then I will ask you to do the frequency and cumulative frequency, right? To get to the next one, keep in mind, cumulative means total. So I'm take this 5 plus my next frequency, give me 7. And I keep adding them to get to the next one. 7 plus 3, that's 10. 8 plus 10 plus 8, 18. And then this is 25. So that's the difference between frequency and cumulative frequency. Cumulative is that I'm adding with the next frequency. I'm adding with the previous column to get my point. Okay. Question so far? Okay. Not. Here's the one thing that we're going to focus on today is how we're going to interpret the table and the frequency histogram. That means I'm going to give you questions about it. We not just create it, but we want to answer the question. So in the chat, I'm going to ask you guys to type in the chat, what is the most based on this table? And I'm going to wait until everyone type in the chat. So don't just, I'm just going to wait for someone to do it. What is the most popular type of music? I want you to, if you're not sure which one, you can guess. But I want you to type in the chat. It's a way for me to check in, and that's, I know that you. Thank you, Isai. Thank you, Esra. Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Another Daniel. Justin, great. Okay. All right. So from what I'm seeing, the one who typed in, thank you, that's right. How do we know that that is the one? Can someone tell me why you think that's the most popular one? How do you know? Someone? Okay. Justin said it has the most tallies. Good. Because that's the one with the highest frequency, which is 8. Good. What is the least popular type of music then? If I move on to the next question. Again, I'm expecting you guys to put in the chat. You can do public chat. You can do private chat. Doesn't matter. Type it in. Okay. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Justin. Jazz. Okay. Julia, Jazz. So the one with the lowest frequency, that is the one, right? So Jazz is J. That's the one with the lowest because that's 2. That's the lowest frequency. How many students were polled? This means how many students did they ask a question? How do we know based on our look at our table? Can you guess how many students that took the survey? There's a couple of ways for us to approach this. 25, okay. How do you know 25 so fast? For those who just type in like Ariana, Estra, Xavier, Dylan, like how do you know that it's 25 right away? To accumulate at the last value, this one, correct, right? Because that's the total of how many students at the end, there's 25 of them. That is one way to do it. Another way is if we add up the frequency column right here, if you use this column, you should find the total as well. All right. So thank you for those who enter in the chat. That's your participation for the day. The rest of you, if you have trouble with the internet or for some reason, or you're like, oh, somebody already answered it, I don't need to. Just type it in, just so I know that you are here and that I know that you pay attention. Okay. I understand sometimes like, oh, they got the answer. I don't have to. Just type it in. All right. So I feel that I'm not alone. It's really sad to sit in the room and talking by yourself. So any question? How to read the frequency table? If you need to copy this down, what I would do is I'm going to upload this this PDF for you. So all the notes that I'm writing right here will be uploaded for you. You don't have to copy down every single thing, but take down some notes that would help you to go back and like, oh, okay, I remember this. Or this is important, I should jot it down. But I should upload this later for you, okay? All right, so this one we're not going to, so this should be the practice that I'm going to ask you to do at your own time to review from Tuesday summative. So for number 2, I'm going to ask you to do review, okay? This is something that do this on your own. If you feel like I need help, work on this one and come to office hours to get help, right? So create frequency table. You do the tally, frequency, cumulative frequency. I'm giving you the numbers again, okay? All right, so that's your review. I'm not going to go over that. The next one that you may run into is that it's kind of the table is not complete. So another type of question that you will run into for your summative is that I may give you some information, and then I'm going to ask you to type in to fill in the rest. And we can figure it out. There's some missing piece, but it's all the same. Okay, so let's do the first spot. If I have the first class between 100 and 105, what value should I put here for the frequency? Right here. If I had to put in this box right here, what value should that be? 5, okay. So we know this one is 5 because the tally is 5. So that's good. Thank you. 5. I can fill out the cumulative frequency right away, which is 5, because it's going to be the same. Now I'm going to fill up in here. This one tell me is 12. So that's how I create my tally. That should be 12 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Okay. Questions on how I know to do those tallies. The cumulative frequency, can someone tell me or type in the chat? If I look over here, what should be my next cumulative frequency? This box right here. What should I fill in? 17. Good. Thank you. 17. Cool. Now over here for this box, this one is not bad because I already have the tally. So 15, 16, right? I count the tally. So now to get to my next one, I can just fill that in. What should be in that box right here, the blue box that I just draw? What should I put in there? Someone? Okay, so I have 15 and then I have 33. 33 is correct because I have to add the 15 and 16 to 33, not 15. Okay, so that's good. You get the idea, right? So this is 14. I can do the tally. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you run into this problem, I have that one extra, sorry. Here's this one thing that I want to tell you is that because I create the summative in Schoology and I cannot do the tally the way it should be, so the 5, I cannot do the line over. So when you take the summative on Tuesday, the 5, I just have to do 5 tally next to each other and I separate them. So just be careful when you read that should be 5, 14, okay? So 33 plus 14, that gave me 47. I'm going to finish up this problem. I think that you got the idea. 49. This is 1. This is 50. Now, this one is a little bit hard, right? You have to come up with a class. What should I put in my first box right here, the one in black, the black box that I have right here? How do I know what values to start off? Okay, some of you said 118. 118 is good. To 123. Okay. Because I know the width is the class width. If you look over here between 100 and 5, the class width is 5. So I know this 117 is on start with 118 plus 5 give me 123. So that's good. Perfect. Thank you. Shalia, Noberto, and Isra. And then I would do the next one. I know this is 129, so this is going to be 130 plus 5, so this would be 135. So that is something that I'm going to ask you to do when you submit it. I'll give you part of the table and you fill out the rest. Questions? Sometimes it's hard for you to draw from Schoology, so I would tell you if you want to, you can do it on a separate piece of paper, take a picture and upload that for me. That will work too. So just again, the X value is the first column, so that's where I label my values. And then 31, 40, 41, 55, 50, sorry. Then 51, 60. This one is the lowest is 3 and the highest is 10. So the problem I'm noticing is that you guys use these values to make a tick mark. But that's not true. You cannot do that. You have to come up with a scale. The scales mean if you start and you increase for every tick mark, you increase by 2, then you have to increase by 2 for all of them. Okay? So for this one, the highest is 10 and the lowest is 3. So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can think my scale would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The scale is up to you. You can do the scale. I'm going to label my X-axis, which is the title, is most of them given to you. Just a matter of you label it. Numbers of wins. And over here is the frequency. I don't have enough space, but I can write over here is the frequency. So that's how I label it. Okay. So the title is most of the time given to you, and you just have to label it right there. The Y values of scale is harder because you have to come up. Do I increase by 2? Do I increase by 3? It's up to you. It doesn't matter. Whatever make it easy for you. All right. Question with how I label my X-axis and Y-axis. Just put it in the chat, yes or no. Just put it in. Like, good, move on, or no. Okay. Okay, so the frequency is 3 for the first class. Look over here, 3, it should be between 2 and 4. So this is my first box, the bar graph. So I create that bar. Now I remind some of you is that there's no space in between. The next one is 4, which is right here, 4. Okay, no space. Don't put any space in between. They should be right next to each other. Then I can do the next one. Also 4. Cool. Same height. 10. Okay, let's look at 10 all the way up here. And the last one is 8. And that's how I create my bar graph. And I think the one who sent me the picture, you did well. One of you did a really good job, and then I was like, you have a really nice app that you use to draw your pictures, so that's great. And some of you have on a piece of paper, that is fine, and some of you draw on Pear Deck, that is great. So whatever works for you, all right? So this is the frequency table, but we have to learn how to interpret the frequency table, okay? So let's look at the question. This time I'm going to ask all of you to type in the chat your answer. So for question A, it said, how many teams won more than 30 games? How many teams won more than 30 games? Okay, I have two people said 22. 22, all right. Do you mind to explain? I'm going to ask the rest of you just type in your number. You may think of something else. Don't like, oh, is it 22 is correct? So that's what I should put. No, put down your numbers. I know. How do we know it's 22? What you do to get 22? What do you do? Okay. So we add the frequency. So here's a couple of things. You can go back to the table. Thank you, Justin. So how we know it's more than 22 is that you can look. If you don't have a table, let's say you don't have this table given to you, just a graph, you can do this. This is 4, this is 10, and this is 8, right? And we add them up, so that gives you 22. So that's good. What is the greatest number of wins by a team? So what is this question asking you for part B? Is ask what was the greatest number of wins by a team? I give you a moment to think about that and then put in the answer in the chat, or you can just unmute and share your answer. It's asked for not quite Ayana, because it's asked what is the greatest number of wins. So think about the greatest number of wins. So they not ask for the class width, they ask for the greatest number of wins. So what is the highest number for the winning? So if we look at the graph, which one has the highest win? 10. By a team, the team that will have the highest win, which is this team right here, right? The 40 to 50, that is the team. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Never mind. Give me 1 second. So it should be the first group right here. Okay, that's correct. So 0 to 19. Good. Now I can do the rest, right? 20 to 39, 40 to 59, 60 to 79. Okay. The frequency is the values based on your graph, based on the chart right here. So tell me, help me fill this in. What's the first value? 9, okay. Next one. Okay. So with the bar graph, sometimes it's really easy for us to see the values, sometimes it's not, but it's close enough, and I'm okay, that's fine. Then the next one, 11, and then 3. Thank you. Okay. It's not too bad, right? With the frequency histogram, it's actually much easier to put it back as a frequency table. So I think it's easier. It may not for you, but that's my thought. Okay, let's answer the question again. What was the most common age of people at the library? What's the common age? 6. Jayla, it could be 6, yeah. So on your summative, if it's close enough, sometimes it's hard to see, but it's okay. I'm okay with if it's close enough and you say 5, I'm like, it could be 5. But yeah, it looks more like a 6. What was the most common age? Common means something has happened or has the highest frequency. So Justin, yes, it's going to be 40 to 59. Thank you. Because that's the one with the highest frequency. Okay, the common has the most. How many people were between age of 20 and 59. So be careful when you look at this answer because it's not just one class. It's how many classes added together. That's the question, okay? So between 20 and 59. So that's the one that I need to focus. So I use a 17. Well, let's see, 6. This one is 11, so 17, because I add them together. So that's good. I think you got it. I think you guys doing well. I think you're going to be okay. At least the one that responding to me, I know that it's going to be okay for you. The one who's not responding to me, well, we'll see.